Hey, horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G. Yes, finally decided to do my recap of the season premiere of American Horror Story 1984. Yes, it's time to bring back the 80s. Now, for those who are new to my channel, when it comes to TV recaps such as American Horror Story, basically I'm going to give what is called a breakdown of what happened on the previous night's episode. And also, give my thoughts on what I thought about the episode, what intrigued me, what I thought was good, and also what I thought was bad. And as usual, this will be a spoiler review video. So if you have not watched the season premiere of American Horror Story, pause this, go watch it, and then come back and watch my recap. You have been warned. Now it's time to talk about what happened on the season premiere of American Horror Story 1984. Now, as we all know, this particular season, American Horror Story, is set in 1984. It's basically a slasher film paying homage to all the slasher films that came out in the 80s. Now, in the beginning, we get a cold opening back in 1970 where we have the killer known as Mr. Jingles kill some camp counselors who were engaged in a threesome. Now, we all know that is a no-no in slasher films. As we see after he kills them, as we see the camera pan back some more, we see more dead counselors. We see he actually killed all the counselors in this flashback. I'm like, oh my god. And some pretty nice kills and some pretty decent gore. That's a nice way to start the season. Now we flash forward to 1984 and we're introduced to the main characters of this season. We have Brooke, Montana, Xavier, Chet, and Ray out of the Robust class. We get some nice Asian music and we get the nice dress, outfits, hair we saw back in the 80s. Now, after being attacked by the Night Stalker, yes, Richard Ramirez, people, remember him, Brooke decides to go to Camp Redwood as a camp counselor along with the rest of the gang. It appears as though Xavier has decided to do some camp counseling and get out of Los Angeles because, hey, that's because of the Night Stalker killings that have gone on at this particular time. While during the camping, while we get introduced to other new characters, we learn the true identity of Mr. Jingles, a Vietnam veteran named Benjamin Richard, who was the groundskeeper there at Camp Redwood. We also learned that the camp's owner, Margaret Booth, was the sole survivor of the massacre back in the 1970s. Yes, woo. Now, as obviously in some type of these pictures, Mr. Jingles escapes from an insane asylum he was put in and heads back to Camp Redwood, learning that Margaret is still alive and he's going there to finish the job. Oh boy. Now we also find out Brooke has a run-in with Mr. Jingles. He kills a hitchhiker that they ran into on the road going back to Camp Redwood, but no one believes Margaret because he's no longer there. And that's how basically the episode ends. Now, I gotta admit, this was a nice way to start the season by reminding everyone how much we love the 80s. We have a retro opening credit scene from this season, which I thought was nice. We have a very brutal cold opening, and then we see the typical 80s dresses from the pink shag carpets, the leotards, the hair, the makeup, and of course, that fabulous music. Van Halen, anyone? Now, Emma Brooks, who's been playing, I think, since Freak Show, if I'm not mistaken. Might be before no, it might have been up into Coven, but I had to look back and see. She's playing against type here. She's not the mean girl, bad girl in this one. She's playing against type here. She here is the mild-mannered Brooke, who just moved to Los Angeles. So she's the nice girl cliche here. We have Montana, who's the wild girl. We have Xavier, who's the nice guy. We have Ray, the token black guy, and Chet, the jock. Yeah, I believe that covers basically all the cliche characters that come within a slasher horror movie. Now, instead of Camp Crystal Lake, we have Camp Redwood, and I actually like the setting that we have here. I like some of the nice shots we get in around the camp. The cinematography is done very well. I also like how it was filmed. No, I also like Mr. Jingles here because he wears a set of keys on his hip that jingles. You get it? I love those funny. Now, well, we don't get any character developed here. It's just basically an introduction episode that we normally see at the beginning of American Horror Story when they start a new story. So it'll be interesting to see what secret these characters have will be revealed as the season goes along. But we already know Margaret has a secret that she is the camp owner, that she was the sole survivor of the blood that Mr. Jingles did in 1970, and she shows the people her sliced ear. appears as though Mr. Jingles, similar to what we saw in Universal Soldier, which is something else that borrows it. But I'm assuming this is what some soldiers did. They cut off the ear and have an ear necklace, and that's what he's doing here. There are lots of callbacks in here, and we also have a callback to not only the 80s, we also have a callback to I Know What You Did Last Summer. So it's pretty interesting to see what other callbacks we get with this show. It'll also be interesting to see what type of plot twist that we'll have, because we always have a plot twist. Now, of course, it seems like Ryan Murphy loves his real-life serial killers here. We have here the Night Stalker, Rich Ramirez. Now, for those people who don't know, Rich Ramirez, basically known as the Night Stalker, terrorized Los Angeles during the mid-'80s. With his satanic killings. Don't worry, they eventually caught him, but that's the serial killer that's going to be here. And as we saw at the concluding episode, he is there at the campsite. Somehow he found Brooke there. It'll be interesting to see how this season will play out. So that's basically what happened in the first episode of American Horror Story 1984. Like I said, we got some nice kills, some good gore effects, some good practical effects. Interesting characters here. We have the typical 80s setting. We have Kent Redwood. I actually like Dina Porter's character, Rita the nurse. I thought she was nice how she did the exposition of explaining Mr. Jingles, because we have to have an exposition. There are some logic gaps in this particular episode, especially when Benjamin escapes from the asylum. I don't think that's procedure, but then again, this is we got to have a TV show. So, my horror fans, what do you think about this episode? Do you think this is another good way or another good season of American Horror Story? Do you like the 1980s vibe? Leave your comments down in the comment section below and tell me what you thought about the first episode of American Horror Story 1984. So, that's my video for today, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And once again, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you can come and enjoy the horror experience with me, the Horror Miser Monty G. And as always, all my social media links will be down in the description box below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules. Pinhead, take us home. We're out.
We'll tear your soul apart.